Failure is no final. Success have no end.
Beyond the TV and radio station, Okada Air, Igbinedion University, various hotels, cars and homes, there lies a man with a heart to serve his people. A man I have grown to know and admire.
Igbinedion means enterprise, and it means you can conquer poverty.
Igbinedion is one of the people who developed this place right away from origin.
Failure is not an option. You just have to keep on trotting on and ensuring that you stay ahead of the game.
Some call him Chief, Esama, Pioneer, the Lion of Okada, but I simply call him Grandpa. On the surface, all you may see is power, wealth, influence, but there is so much more to his story. Let's explore a brief history of the Esama of Benin Kingdom, how his legacy impacts us all, and why his resilience is important to all Nigerians.
People could learn from my mistake because we could learn from my advantage. My mother is a princess from Esame of Benin. When I was about 9 years, my father died of heart failure. The life became rough for me. As I was a houseboy, I was taken from here by a forest guard called Idahosa. He had 3 wives, Aja, Edegbe, and Abaro. Every week I come from school, I must go to fetch firewood 5-6 days a week. If you want to give me food, you know the language he used, they will put on with bag, as he was calling her dog. As soon as I entered, I just, when he said the way they were treating me, was it? I just put me inside, eat 2 seconds, and come back.
My father grew up from a very humble background. He was born in Okada. He lost both his parents at a very early age, so he had to struggle, work hard, be disciplined to make a living for himself.
He's a man that is full of wisdom. He teaches you, he nurtures you, he educates you. I've known the Esama of Benin Kingdom for a very long time. Since I was a child, I've known him in this town, ancient city of Benin, as a very compassionate person and a father to very many people.
If one truly believes in a cause and is passionate enough to pursue it, quitting is never an option. As a journalist, a philanthropist, and a Nigerian, I am motivated to inform and serve my community. I see this passion to serve in my own parents who were taught about giving by my grandfather. Before he became the Esama of Benin Kingdom, he installed the values of hard work in my father.
One day he took me on a drive. I'll say maybe around 14, 15. I was still very young. He was pointing to poor people and big buildings, telling me the difference between poor and rich. And he told me, well, I don't owe you anything apart from your education. It's your education that I will give to you. His own wealth is his own wealth. I must try to go and create my own. I should not look at his own as if I'm going to inherit it from him or things like that. And that stuck to me. And that is what I've also taught my children to say, listen, education, I will not compromise. You can have the best education, get your master's. If you want to stop there, fine. But if you want to do your PhD, I will pay for it. But after that, you must, be your own person. You must create your own path, create your own destiny. And it is only through hard work you can achieve those successes. So that is a very impactful talk we had, what he taught me, and that stuck with me. And I've imbibed that culture and I transferred it to my own children as well.
The word Okada has deep roots in Nigeria and in West Africa, but it is more than just a name of a motorbike. It is where my family lineage began. The motorbike nicknamed Okada today took its name from the airline my grandfather operated from 1983 to 1997. Okada is where my grandfather was born. I can track my family's route to the ancient Benin Kingdom, now modern-day Edo State in Nigeria. For hundreds of years, our ancestors, the Edo people, also known as the Benins, were known to be proficient in ironworking, carpentry, pottery, leatherworking, weaving, and beadwork. The traditional ruler of the Edo people, known as the Oba, is based in Benin City. Roughly 50 kilometers north of current-day Benin City is a town known as Okada. Hundreds of years before the original settlement of Okada, it was known as Oke, roughly translated into English as hill. The name Okada comes from two words, Oke, the currency, and Ada, the name of the river, which served as a lifeline of the Okada people. To protect themselves from attacks, the people of Okada resettled twice, each time moving to higher grounds. The second Okada settlement was built in the 18th century, and the third and the current settlement was established by Chief Josiah Igbinedion.
My father built a house, became number one house in the village, which is standing today. My great-grandfather is born in Okada. He stayed with my grandfather and that of my father. Because there was no road, can you the whole day, 12 hours, 10 hours to go to reach there. When they now reach the Wawa River, for where you cross to go to Okada, that your mom pass it, my mother pass it. Then Amosede Osage said he would never pass it. Doesn't know how deep it is. Being what we call Big Mama in Benin, everybody respected her. She refused to cross. To encourage her, my father now went to where we are today. I went to the place, take cutlass, brush it, and make a hut and firewood. My grandfather already called everybody out that his son got lost. When somebody got lost, they will all go to the bush. And they were sharpening cutlass to go out. The Hamut started going out. My father appeared.
You're fondly called the Lion of Okada due to these developmental strides you've been able to accomplish in Okada. Looking at Okada holistically, what is the future you envision for Okada?
When they call the Lion of Okada, you can take it from concept. My father founded it. Was able to conquer the lion, the elephant, and everything. That's that name. And now you entered it from there for your own, because you're my granddaughter. You should bring your chest out. My great-grandfather was a warrior.
I was born into this Okada soil in 1946. It was the water of this river they used to bath me. From that year I was born, I know we were fetching this water for a living.
Before I was born, they were very famous, very well-to-do, very influential.
Having money is not everything. As the only surviving child of his parents, when faced with a challenge, he didn't stop, shut down, or complain. He overcame obstacles and pioneered his own path. Even though he did not complete secondary school, he was able to get a job as a probationary teacher at Okoro village in Akwa Ibom State. Recognizing his potential, he left rural Akwa Ibom State and went to Benin City, first as an office messenger and then a salesman for a newspaper known as the Adult Literacy Campaign. As a salesman, he managed to triple the sales for the paper, but being in the newspaper business was just not enough. In 1959, at the age of 25, he enrolled into the Nigerian police force. Sadly, 10 months later, his mother died. At the time, he had only 2 pence to his name. 2 pence at that time was equivalent to just £0.5, roughly 210 naira. In 1963, after working for 4 years in the police force, he quit to start his first business. At 29, he would go on to establish over 33 companies, including print media, real estate, P&G marketing, and Mid-Motors plant in 1968.
You see some young men now, when they form a company today, tomorrow they say they break up to go start on their own. One, they have no capital. They have not got an idea. God have not called them to it. You have to listen to God to call you. Put in your mind what to do. God have not called them to it. You have to listen to God to call you. Put in your mind what to do.
Here are a list of companies Chief Igbinedion started. If you Google the word Esama, you will find the term the son of the people.
Pride, the pride chieftaincy. Esama no wera moro. Agbe agolo. Be proud. Continue to be proud. Continue to be dancing.
Just over 10 years after having only 2 pence to his name, in 1974, at the age of 40, Chief Igbinedion was the youngest to hold the title Esama of Benin Kingdom. Earlier on, the Esama of Benin Kingdom continued to build a business empire and give back to the community. To inspire the people of Okada, Chief Igbinedion made sure to acknowledge the heroes who had impacted him. When we build, we experience a deeper understanding of how to connect with the needs of everyone. Seeing the need for the people of Okada to have a place of worship, he built the first church in 1986.
Everything that is there today is effort. I developed that place. I put churches, mosque, town hall, at the road, not government, not local government, not the state government, not federal government. I will turn it myself.
It pegged an electric pole direct from Benin to Ogbese and supply every community in the road electricity. Igwabazowa, Udo, Okada, Utese, Ogbese, Uhen, and all other villages along the express road that lead to Ogbese. He gave each and every brother electricity.
Giving light to 87 villages from Benin to Ogbese. I think why they give them light so that they get out of darkness.
Although my grandfather never completed secondary school, he knew the value of education. In Okada, he built an education center, a grammar school, and a secondary school. He didn't stop there. He built a world-class university called Igbinedion University Okada.
Igbinedion means enterprise, and it means you can conquer poverty and you can do all those things that the world has not really known, because Chief Igbinedion grew from nothing to everything, and that's what we're instilling in our students as part of that. He has the uncanny ability to manage men and women, and children as well, to such an extent that you would think he's playing a character that can only come out of the books, and he's so versatile, he's so knowledgeable, he's so confident, he's so absolutely in control of all the things that he does, that he cannot but be a wonder. And the more you know him, the more of a wonder he becomes.
Okada Air, which operated from 1983 to 1997. The venture was the first of its kind and opened the doors and inspired other Africans to start their own businesses.
Once in London, I came across some aeronautical engineer who had seen me with the chief. And he came to me to say, "Do you know him?" I said, "Yes, he's the proprietor of my university." He says, "Wow. You know that when they used to do the checks, the C checks and the D checks on his aircraft, Okada Air, he would come after they had finished and he would say, 'Have you done something in this cavity?' And they would look at him. I mean, how much of, he's unbelievable."
And so you need to be compassionate, you need to give back to society, you need to understand them as well. You don't just look down on any person, but rather look at yourself as equals, because you were born equal. And one day you will die and leave everything behind as well. So you must learn to share, you must learn to be compassionate, and you must also learn to love equitably. Your children, your family, your friends. Have time for relaxation, but above all, be focused and make sure that you have your goal set properly.
He's just a great man who loves children. And to his grandchildren, when my kids were very young and growing up, I used to take them across to visit him often. And he would himself and his lovely wife, Lady Cherry, would, spread their bed, their own bed, and the kids would jump on the bed and eat popcorn. So I would be worried, why are you eating popcorn on Grandpa's bed? And they say, "Oh no, Grandpa asked us to lie down here." So that's the kind of father he is. They will eat popcorn and leave the crumbs on the bed. And I'll be there saying, "No, you can't do that." They say, "Oh no, Grandpa said we should lie down on his bed." So they all used to do that, play with him, play on the floor with him. He was such a relaxed, dad then. Now they're all grown up, they have their own children. And I tell them, I hope you have learned from your grandfather that it's good to relax with your children.
Well, my father, he's a great man. I mean, he's a living legend and everything. It's like, there's no other way to describe him apart from like an enigma. He's just everything to us, He's the head of a family.
He's just phenomenal, that's it. Very special person. And I think, simply put, he's my hero.
We have come together, we have visited our Dionwere, we have also visited our ancestral home. Most of the grandchildren, they don't even know where Okada is. And for them to come and know the home where, our father's father, where he began, was a great thing. Now they know that they come from somewhere. It's not just a name. Because people thought Okada was the name of the machine and motorbike. Now they know that it's a town. and they're happy.
My grandfather has a heart for his people. He's a natural philanthropist.
For me, he is larger than life. I have known him only for 14 years. In those 14 years, it would look like I have known him every day of my life. The one thing that I find most remarkable about him is the insight that is almost superhuman. He seems to be the man who can tell you, tomorrow. And, nothing happens, that for me can come as a surprise or a shock to Chief Igbinedion. That's how much he knows about the human character.
Failure is no final. Success have no end. Don't aim your father have this. Create empire of your own.
When my team and I had the privilege to sit with him for hours and listen to his story, we left with greater appreciation and understanding of what makes Esama great. He spoke about the challenges he faced and the achievements he gained. With a challenging beginning, his resilience led him not to give up. He continues to dance, to laugh, and carry on in his altruistic nature by motivating everyone around him to be proud of their heritage and tradition. Before he was 30 years old, he barely had any money in his pocket, but by the age of 40, he became the Lion of Okada and the great Esama of Benin Kingdom. Not all of the businesses he started are here today, but he set the path for others to follow. As the only surviving child of his parents, he cared for children, not only his, but the children of Benin Kingdom.